not. There we go. All right. My webcam wasn't in the stream. There's the comments. I don't see. Is it not working? Guys, you should know by now. Milky is a bit of a dumblefutz. Inevitably, Milky will screw things up. It's typically not you, it's me. Also, I'm shy. I'm very camera shy. Actually, that is true. I don't know if you know that. The camera's in here because it's a necessary evil to what I do, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Just so you know. All right. Listen, anything you want to talk about? What's pissing you off? How do you feel about this LRT situation? Oh, God, here we go. Back on the LRT. But, I mean, like, I'd love your comments on this. 613-604-6464 is the number here. 613-604-6464. I'm putting the video link in our comment section right now. So whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube or on Twitch or on Twitter or on 613 TV, you can just click that and away you go. You can join us via video. It's much like a Zoom call. You just click that. You'll be in the waiting room, much like I was before I realized that I wasn't on the air. My voice was, but my face wasn't. As for the LRT, Jules the Dancer saying, LRT, waste of money. Well, so far, it certainly is that. It certainly is that. So if you missed the news yesterday, okay, so let's back it up a little bit. Well over 3 months ago now, the latest big fiasco to hit the LRT is it went off the tracks. Listen, that's upsetting enough when you're playing with a toy train. You ever build a model railroad and it goes off the tracks? It's very upsetting. But when this is a multi-billion-dollar investment that the Canadian taxpayers, the Ontario taxpayers, and the Ottawa taxpayers have gotten together to do, holy crap. And you know, Craig, you're exactly right. Craig says the comments are likely the same as they have been. Incompetence at its best. Yeah. So the damn thing's falling off the rails. We've got train stations that still smell like poop. On and on and on it goes. Well, yesterday... So all they're doing with the trains right now is they're testing them again. Since the derailment, they've determined that was likely caused because a gearbox wasn't bolted properly. Somewhere in a shift change, one person only got the job done to a certain point. The next person in, I guess, didn't realize it was at that point and just assumed it was done. Whatever. Somehow, a gearbox was sitting too low, hit something on the tracks, and the train drove for, quite a bit of time, derailed. Which is, listen, a terrible, awful thing. Luckily, nobody was injured. Can you imagine, though, if the public service was actually working downtown? If we had regular rush hour, like we had pre-pandemic, can you imagine? And maybe that's why, because I just don't hear anybody getting pissed off. Like Lowell brings it up, I bring it up, and you get the occasion, like Craig says, the occasional comment. Yep. What a waste. Ho hum. Do you not realize that this is your money? Your money. You know when you look at your pay stub? You know when your boss tells you that you make, let's say, I don't know, let's say you make $100,000. Do you not look at your pay stub and see that $40,000 of that is gone to taxes? Like, does it not dawn on you? $40,000 of what you, quote unquote, earned, you gave back. You have invested $40,000 based on 40% taxes that the average Canadian pays through income tax, sales tax, etc. Why are there not people protesting outside City Hall? I mean, I wouldn't protest near the train tracks. God forbid. It's a good way to get injured. Anyway, train falls off the track, investigation, blah, 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 blah. Here's what we've determined. 3 months later, we're now in the testing phase. We're going to run the choo-choo train up and down the tracks, back and forth we go. And, once we're satisfied that this appears to be working again, then we'll allow the public to get back on the choo-choo train. Well, yesterday, while testing, one of the trains, and I guess this is normal, and then back to my toy train analogy, one train connects to another, they hitch on, and one train can pull the other backwards, forwards, and I guess this is what's going on. It's part of them testing, how this thing is supposed to work on a daily basis. Okay, wonderful. Well, while doing that yesterday, in the train yard, in the maintenance yard, 2 trains collided. It's just a damaged windshield. And I love these comments from some of the city councilors or some of the news releases you're seeing. Luckily it was just a damaged windshield and some wiper blades and only some of the front panels. Oh, is that all? If your car is in an accident in a parking lot, do you go on Facebook and say, luckily, all that was damaged was my windshield and some front end damage. I need to replace the hood. No. Of course not. You're livid. You're angry. Because now you got to make a claim. Now your insurance is going to go up. Now the delay of it. But, hey, it's just taxpayer dollars. Luckily, all that was damaged was a windshield. How much does a windshield cost on one of these things? I don't think you can just pick up the phone and call Speedy Auto Glass. Hey, you got a windshield replacement for an LRT? Yep, we'll be right there. I'm sick and tired of the politicians and the hires up at OC Transpo saying that, like just sweeping this under the carpet. Where's the anger? I'm pissed. Enough. And what I want to start hearing from people is solutions. Nobody seems to be offering up solutions. What do we do with this thing? In my opinion, and I've said this before, until we get, okay, so we've laid down, however many kilometers of track, underground tunnels, blah, 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 blah. It's running from Blair to Piss on Me Station or whatever the hell it's called. How about we just stop building this thing for now? With all due respect to the people who work very, very hard on this thing. And I know the construction workers and the teams around them do. Get rid of Watson, Donald says. Well, Donald, that's called showing up to vote. And guess what? Most people don't. People don't care. They don't care. Voter turnout is like 40% for a municipal election. Nobody cares. And get rid of Watson. Listen, Jim Watson wasn't mayor when this thing was approved. This was all, everybody looks at the city council and they go, these people right here, these people. No. These people inherited the plan. Some of them were on council. I mean, you just can't fire the mayor. Well, you fire the mayor in an election. And Donald says he did vote, but he did not vote for him. That's awesome. I'm glad you showed up and you voted and you made your voice heard. But here's the other problem, Donald. Who the hell's running against the mayor? Who? If you want to, and look, I like Jim Watson. He and I get along really well. He's a pleasant guy. He always remembers my name. Yeah, I know some of it's politicking. Milky for mayor. Yeah, no. I wouldn't want that job. I'm tempted, Jewel. I'm not going to lie. the more I'm getting to the point where I am angry enough where I at least want to start some sort of political movement where I think a lot of the conversations, not just locally, not just provincially, not just federally, but Canadians need somebody who's going to smack them upside the head and say, turn off CNN, turn off MSNBC, turn off Fox, turn off ABC, turn off American news and pay attention to what's happening in your own damn backyard. Like I'm telling you right now, I could put a microphone in front of, I could take 10 of you listening right now at random and put you around a table with a microphone, and I could ask you questions about Canadian politics, Canadian geography, Canadian history. I'm not a betting man, but boy, if you want to put some Monopoly money on it, I will put all of my Monopoly money on the fact that not one person in those 10 would get more than a passing grade on the questions we were to ask. Okay, here's a question. What's the name of our Governor General? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20. 21 seconds later, Susie finally gets it. It took 21 seconds. And she's the only person who even answered the question. This is what I'm saying. She's our head of state. And I recognize there's a delay between when I say it, when I hear it here in the studio, and when it actually gets out to the masses. Then there's Ken. Don't know, don't care. The Governor General connection to monarchy should be pulled. That's fine, Ken. That's I love you, buddy. But it is what it is. That's, whether we should have the monarchy or not, that's a whole other conversation. The reality is Mary Simon is our Governor General. She is our head of state. And most Canadians couldn't tell you her name. If you ask most Canadians who's our head of state, they'd probably tell you Trudeau. So, I mean, Milky for mayor, no, not interested in that whatsoever. But yeah, somebody somewhere has to start standing up and saying, hold on here. Let's dumb this down for people. Let's start making some sense of this. Like I said, you look at your paycheck. I mean, just why taxes seem to be the only answer that any political party can come up with. Oh, well, we got to pay for this somehow. Find another way. And yeah, I recognize that, if the Conservatives had have won the federal election, they'd be making cuts. And that puts you in a very not envious position. Because now you're taking things away from people. And people feel entitled. I've always had that. Don't take it away from me. Well, somebody's got to pay for this stuff. Somebody's got to pay for it. But we're not paying attention to that. We think this just the government pays for it. Who do you think the government is? And why does this not get across to people? Every talk show host, not just a little, every talk show host in history has tried to hammer this home. There's only one taxpayer. That's the only way the government gets its money is from its people. If you want this, if you want that, if you want better healthcare, you got to pay for it. If you want daycare, you got to pay for it. You pay for it through your taxes. It's not like you're showing up at the front door saying, here's my debit card, but you're paying for it. Are you not angry? Billions of your dollars, my dollars, billions on a choo-choo train. Oh, luckily, all that was damaged was the windshield and the front panel. Luckily, there are a few counselors, and look, I'm not a huge fan of Diane Dean's. She and I have battled over a few things here and there, quietly and out of the public eye. I don't necessarily. I'm not a fan, but I will give credit where credit is due. When she is passionate about something, she is like she's like a dog on that thing. She ain't letting it go. She is all in, and she has raised it on her Twitter. I believe Carolyn Meehan raised it as well, and I'm not a huge fan of Carolyn Meehan. You look familiar. Yes, we worked in the same building for about 15 years. Did we? Anyway. Yeah, we did. But at least the two of them seem to be, well, Diane Dean said in her Twitter feed last night that she will be putting forth yet again a demand that we have a judicial inquiry. Oh, right now the Auditor General is going to look at things. Nah, something much bigger is going on here. There are way too many of your dollars and my dollars at stake to just allow a paid employee of the government to look at this. And I'm not saying the Auditor General can't do it, but the auditors are limited in what they can ask, who they can talk to, what they have access to. A judicial inquiry opens the whole thing up. They can do subpoenas, you name it. I mean, at this point, my feeling is, and I'm talking about this, I'm not getting much more than good morning, hi, how are you? Good morning, hi, good morning. Like people, like it just seems to be people just don't give a damn. Spend my money, tax me more, build a choo-choo train that doesn't work, let it crash into another choo-choo train that doesn't work. It's fine with me, John. Stop wasting my time talking about this. If you could just go back to playing Hanson, that would be great. I just don't understand what it takes to stir up anger and to get people to see that this is, you paid for this. If you spend, like I said, if you make $100,000 a year, $40,000 of that is going to taxes in some way, shape, or form. At least $40,000. If you spent $40,000, if you went to a car dealership today and you had to fork out $40,000 of your money and you got a vehicle that kept driving off the road, that kept smashing into other vehicles in the parking lot, would you just sit there and go, oh, well? So why is that $40,000 that you spent in taxes, any different than the $40,000 you would spend at a car dealership for yourself? $40,000 is $40,000. Anyway, I'm apparently talking to myself on this. There's like no reaction to this at all. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, the good news apparently is, yes, there was an accident, but this is not going to slow down the return of the LRT. Oh, good. So the LRT is going full steam ahead? That's a scary thought. LRT going quickly? No. Anyway, what else is going? So I started talking about why I shouldn't be in a good mood this morning. I went to bed nice and early last night. Had a long few days. Been trying to, keep depression at bay. I feel it. Messed up my meds a couple of times. I thought, okay, all right, I'm going to go to bed early because I have the opportunity. I'm laying in bed last night. And I don't know how well this is going to come across on air, but this is recorded on my cell phone at around midnight. This is literally me laying in bed, holding my cell phone, capturing this. What the hell is going on in the Blossom Park area at like 11 o'clock? No noise. Listen to this. It went on till 2 o'clock in the morning. What in the hell is that? So this is why I should not be in a good mood. That thing kept me up all night. I know they're doing some work to one of the cemeteries in Blossom Park. And by the way, the work being done, there are 2 cemeteries side beach. There's a very small Christian cemetery, and there's a very large, beautiful Jewish cemetery that they've been doing all kinds of beautiful work with concrete, etc., and really, really prettying that up. I don't know if that's what that noise is, if they were working overnight on that. But do we not have bylaws? I mean, here I'm going to start sounding like somebody who lives in the glebe. Do we not have bylaws about such things? After 11 o'clock, we're not supposed to be making noise. Why? Midnight till 2 o'clock in the morning. This is okay. My bed is easily 5 feet from my window. And my phone is able to record that. That's just how loud it is. Normally, by the way, if I were to record myself in bed, you'd be hearing all kinds of snoring. So anyway, there's that. The snoring would probably drown that out. But anyway, that's just why I shouldn't be. I am in a good mood. I'm very upset about the LRT. I am really pissed off. Enough is enough is enough. And, so yeah, otherwise I'm in a good mood. Yeah. Susie asks, the system is broken. Why is Shirelli still there? No one cares about what's happening. You're right. Yeah. Shirelli's back at his office. And I know, innocent until proven guilty. You read the comments, on the Citizen, on the Sun, and it becomes the same old, same old. Why isn't Watson firing him? Because he can't. And if you pay attention, and if you do a little homework in a Google search, you'll realize the mayor doesn't do the hiring. You do the hiring. You vote for your counselor. And the ethics commissioner, et cetera, or whomever, took a look at some of the accusations against Shirelli and determined that the only the maximum penalty that they could, as the city of Ottawa, as the structure that exists within, the only option they had, they took away his salary for, I think it was it 6 months? Whatever it was, an extended period of time. Still maintains the office. The office, I'm sure, still has a budget. There are employees in the office, after all. Somebody's got to represent his constituency in Nepean. What do you do about it? You show up and you vote. And you vote people out that that you don't believe in anymore, or who you feel have betrayed or lost your trust. But while they're in office, what do? I don't know. Seems to me, and this is obviously something that we need to encourage the next set of city councilors and the next mayor. We need to, if you're really that upset about it, and if you want change, the question here is, Anne Marie's saying, so who do we complain to? Well, you make that an election issue. And you find people who put that on their list of things to do when they get elected. They make that a campaign promise, and you hold them accountable. You said you were going to put forth a motion that changed the regulations so that if somebody, and I believe his case is going to court, and rightfully so, I think, listen, the accusations have been made. I think he has every right to defend himself in court. Absolutely. I also believe, though, that as long as somebody is lobbying, and not just one person, but as long as something like that is before the courts, an elected official has a duty to take a step back and let the process play out. Do we put a system in place where we have, deputy counselors? I mean, God, what is that going to cost us? Oh, God. But while I mean, he's had some heart surgery and stuff, and he's been away from, being able to do his council duties and stuff, and he's had other counselors, there to cover things off in his constituency and whatever else, and that's the right thing to do. But yeah, I don't know. There's no anger, and there's people just aren't getting involved. The Ottawa police budget is apparently a big deal. We're talking millions of taxpayers' dollars, and there's all kinds of things in the new police budget that people are scratching their heads on. Well, you read the headline this morning, a grand total of 12 people are going to speak. 12. Ooh. 12 citizens in a city of 1 million. Wow. I'm really afraid of that if I'm a counselor. 12. You ever gone to a city hall meeting? You should. Freeze. I complained on Twitter. Isn't that enough? Nope. But you're exactly right. That's what people do now, right? They go on their Facebook, they go on their Twitter, and they opine, and they feel they've made their thoughts known to the counselors. Not quite how that works. You got to write a letter. You got to write an actual letter to your city councilor. Do you honestly think Justin Trudeau sits there scrolling through his Twitter or his Facebook? Do you honestly believe that Justin Trudeau updates his own social media? Come on. Come on. There's no way in hell. I'm quite convinced, by the way, I think Mayor Watson does the occasional update, but I'm well aware he's actually got a social media team. He's got assistants. Nothing goes out before everybody in the office looks at that and goes, yup. That apparently is not the case with Rick Shirelli in emails. Oh, no, right. Sorry. His account keeps getting hacked. Right. That's mysterious. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I got some serious questions about it. Come on. And by the way, if someone at City Hall or Rick Shirelli's office happens to be hearing this, person after person after person has sent me screen grabs of email and private DMs they've had with you on Twitter. Dude. I thought I was pretty naughty. I thought I was pretty filthy and pretty tongue-in-cheek and full of innuendo. Yeah, no. I will leave it at that. What else is going on? Red Blacks coach in some hot water. I don't know if you've paid much attention to this story. Charlie Eager, who I believe is an American coach, certainly has coached a lot in American universities, etc., and some NFL teams. The Red Blacks have sent him home. They're on a bye week this week. They have one more game to wrap up the season. He is the running backs coach. They have sent him home. Don't bother coming back, and your contract is not going to be renewed next year. I don't know what his comments were, but apparently he made some comments that the organization and certainly the head coach, Paul Lapolis, have deemed to be insensitive to Francophone players. What's that about? Also interesting to note that a running backs coach for a really lousy football team this year seems to be held to higher account than our politicians. I find that interesting. Anyway, let me just say this about that. Oh, speaking of football, were you watching Monday Night Football last night? Hell of a game. Wow! Pittsburgh, Chicago. I just, like people laugh at me because it's like, wait a minute. 1 minute you're wearing a Seattle Seahawks jersey. The next day it's Bills. The next day it's Steelers. The next day it's the Ravens. Who do you cheer for? I just love football. In the CFL, Red Blacks. Whatever the Ottawa team is called today, that's the team I love. I grew up on CFL football. I love my CFL football. It's very damaged. It's very broken. The league looks and sounds like crap. There's a million things they could be doing better, but they don't seem to want the help. But when I watch the NFL, I just love football. I just love it. And I love the passion. But if you missed the game last night, back and forth within 2 points of each other, back and forth, and Chicago with this huge comeback, and they go ahead. But did they score too early? Seems they did. Because Pittsburgh still had time to score and reclaim the lead. They left time in the clock. Chicago is trying to, a field goal wins it for Chicago. And the best they could do, left their kicker, Santos, attempting a 65-yard field goal instead of a Hail Mary pass for a touchdown, which you would typically see from 65 yards out. I love how ballsy that move was from the coach. Let's get out there. And this guy's been perfect, by the way. He's got the longest streak of field goal successes in the NFL right now. He's perfect. His longest, I think, has been 52 yards. All right, it's 65. Go for it, young man. Go for it. By the way, first Brazilian player in the NFL. Hell yeah. I want a shot at that if I'm a kicker. Anyway, the original shot of it on TV, it looked like it hit the lower crossbar and bounced off, but it didn't. It fell quite a few feet short, but damn. The NFL can often be a very lopsided affair. That was exciting last night. Absolutely exciting. So yeah, I enjoyed that. All right. People don't seem to really care about much of what I'm talking about here, apparently. So let's see what we can do to Oh, here's Chris in with gas prices. Look at a 2-cent liter a hike in gas prices Wednesday for Toronto, Ottawa, Hamilton, Londonderry. Of course. Just keep asking me to pay more. Yep. Tax me. I love it. I love paying more. I actually saw somebody post on Facebook last night. Oh, I don't mind having to pay a little more for groceries. What? Must be nice. I'm an entrepreneur who's been scraping by for 6 years, trying to survive on about 1/5 of the income I used to have. Not one CERB program available to try and help a sole proprietorship. Not one. But people around me, I don't mind paying a little more for groceries. I don't mind $1.47 for gas. Sure. Take my money. I want you to take all of my money. Here, government. Money, 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 money. There's Stacy excited that I'm talking about the Steelers. Hell of a game last night, Stacy. That was fun. I often don't opine on or talk about football much because it's on in the background, whatever else, and I'm not really paying that close attention. But that was entertaining as hell last night. And again, I don't really have a dog in that race. I just thought it was two football teams that seemed evenly balanced. I loved the poise of the Bears quarterback. And, I mean, just the comments from Pittsburgh quarterback Ben Roethlisberger after the game. I mean, he was like, wow. Wow. Yeah, there's Long Point Driver. I have an issue with groceries. I mean, where's the pushback? Where's the yelling and screaming? We make oil in Alberta, in Saskatchewan. We make it right here. But we can't get it from there to here efficiently enough. We should be paying pennies for gas. It comes out of our own backyard in Canada. But because we can't get a pipeline, because people don't want it, because it's ugly and it's an environmental hazard, potentially, so is trucking it. I think we've established that putting it on a train and transporting it by rail is also potentially environmentally catastrophic. There is really no ironclad way to safely transport it. So I guess this begs the question, are you prepared? Are you prepared to change your world to electric? Are you prepared to get rid of your gas fireplace? Are you prepared to get rid of your gas furnace? Are you prepared to get rid of your gas car? Are you prepared to get rid of your gas barbecue? Would you buy an electric car? Would you? My brother just did. He's down in the GTA, and I'm watching. I mean, I look forward to our Zoom call every Sunday because I can't wait to find out more. There was a story yesterday, by the way. Let me see if I can find this. This came out of England. Come on, Facebook. Wakey, wakey, wakey. So, this is from mylondon.news. All right. Shoppers get stuck in Westfield car park for 3 hours after Tesla runs out of battery. So here we go. Shoppers at Westfield were left fuming after a Tesla ran out of battery on the car park entry ramp, blocking other cars in for 3 hours. Fuming about the holdup, one shopper took to the online forum Reddit to share pictures of the scene and vent their frustrations. Other users responding were equally outraged, adding that there's no excuse for causing such a delay. After being caught in the jam on Wednesday, Reddit user Henry took to the forum to vent, posting pictures. This is hard to read when the ads keep popping up. I've been here for 3 hours. Perfect, he says. A Tesla ran out of battery and stopped at the ramp of a 5-story car park. There's your future. I mean, picture yourself at Rito Center, right? Or well, I think Bayshore, but then again, it's just, yeah, picture yourself at Rito Center. Or I don't know if you've been to that parking garage that's on, it's on George Street. It's also on York Street. So there's entrances on both sides. It's the big white, yuck looking garage. I used to park there when I worked in the Byward Market. And yeah, it's about 5 stories up. So if you've got a car that all of a sudden stopped, so you've got, all the cars behind it, how do you get a car out of that? There's only one ramp up and one ramp down. So what, the car has to sit there while they charge it long enough that it can actually get up and get going again? Like, is that the future? Lizzie says the lithium batteries are more harmful to the environment in production. Not in any hurry in purchasing a battery vehicle in our climate. Not reliable for me. And yet, back to OC Transpo, we just bought a bunch of electric buses because, well, that seems like the future. I don't know. It scares the hell out of me. And I know if I think about, I mean, I'm pretty sure these electric buses are about to go onto the roads if they're not already, but certainly by this winter they will be. I know damn well come January, February, I will be on the air saying, told you so. We got a bus broken down. Battery is frozen. Rob says, here's something. I'm currently in the Kingston region. The average cost of living is between $17 to $18 an hour, yet many people make minimum wage and try to do it on their own. I make above that, work 2 jobs, and I'm still struggling to get by. The question is, why is the cost of living going up, especially post-pandemic, yet wages stay low? In my opinion, housing/rental costs should be reflective of cost of living in different regions. A town with mostly minimum wage jobs, lower cost housing, etc. Well, Rob, the reason the cost of living keeps going up is because the cost of borrowing keeps going up. We have a government that borrows and borrows and borrows. And I didn't realize this until Lowell gave us the rundown, really. Things I never even thought about. And math, not my forte. Economics, like probably something I've never paid any attention to at all. But basically, I mean, you know, if you've got RRSPs, whatever else, you know, you go to your bank, whatever else, you know, or your broker, and you trust them to make investments on your behalf. I'm looking for this kind of return on my investment. I'm prepared to accept a risk level of this. Actually, Ken's a good person to talk to about this because Ken, I know, works in banking. But there are actually people who will loan money as an investment to governments. They buy American dollars. They buy euros. They buy the Canadian dollar. And the longer their money sits there unpaid, the higher the interest. It trickles down. It's as simple as that. Last I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but this country just paying interest on the debt in this country. Just paying the interest, not paying off the debt. Think of this as your mortgage, your car payment, etc., your credit card. Just to make the minimum payment on your credit card costs you what? Okay? That's the minimum payment to keep the bank off your ass. Keep them satisfied. You're not actually paying down your debt. You're just paying the interest charges due. You're paying the investors back because they want their money now, thank you. The interest payments in Canada alone are somewhere in the neighborhood of $470 million a day. When it comes to rent, we're all familiar with, every article you read about real estate. Cost of real estate is going up and 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 up. There has been a huge displacement because of this pandemic. I look around Ottawa and I'm like, why am I seeing entire subdivisions popping up out of nowhere? Where are these people coming from? What are they coming here to do? What is this? It's not like the government is on some huge hiring spree. It's not like high tech is suddenly booming. Why are people coming to Ottawa? And the only answer I seem to get from real estate agents, etc., is a lot of them, they're investors from other cities. Toronto, for example. Real estate's even higher in Toronto. They sell a house in Toronto. They can buy a house here and 2 or 3 investment properties. If my mortgage costs me, let's say, $3,000 a month, why am I renting to you for $1,000 a month? I know you want your rent controlled, but like people who are renting don't seem to understand that your rent, you're paying somebody's mortgage. That's the deal. You don't have to save for the down payment. You just have to pay monthly rent. You're paying their mortgage. It's like a business transaction. Why would I sell you a car that costs me $50,000? Why would I sell a $50,000 car to you for $20,000? Doesn't make sense. You wouldn't do it. And the minute we raise minimum wage, guess what happens? Every retail employer, every restaurant that has to pay that difference raises their prices to cover it off. So you're not going to be further ahead. One thing moves in the system, everything else follows along. And then you'll hear people say, "Oh, that's just owners being greedy. It comes out of their profits." Well, hold on. You say profit. And first off, I think that, a lot of people talk, profit like it's a bad thing. Well, if you own a business, if you're the owner, you assume all the risk, every bit of the risk. Every single person who works for you, you're responsible for. So you have to pay the rent, you have to pay the taxes, got to pay the heat, the hydro, you got to pay for whatever supplies are involved in your business, the inventory, pay the employees. Profit isn't this thing that just sits there dancing. Profit is what the owner calls their income. Why should the owner of a business not be able to provide for their family? Why should they not be able to have income as well? They assume all the risk. They've made all the investment. Chris has got a good point. They also cut back the hours of their employees. Yeah. You're asking me to give up more of my income in order to provide you with more income. If I asked you to give up more of your income for me, would you? Of course not. Profit's not a dirty word. Profit is what the owner of the business, that's how they pay their mortgage. That's how they feed their family. So, I mean, it's a vicious cycle. One thing goes up, everything goes up. Cost of gas goes up. Costs more to transport basic goods. The cost of gas goes up. The truckers, the truck drivers, they get paid, more because the cost of living goes up. Suddenly transporting, like let's use beef as an example. Cost of beef is through the roof. Well, look at the average farmer. Think how many tractors, think how many grain silos, et cetera. Think how many, just to dry the grain. Think of the heaters that they need to use. Think of the cost that they incur. Oh, that comes from their profit. It comes from their income. When you go to work at the end of the day and you get a check, that's your profit. That's your profit. So when a farmer's costs go up, their land taxes increase, their gas costs increase, the cost of electric increases, they can't sell beef at what they were selling beef to you for a year ago. They've got farm hands. They got people working on the farm who now want more money because minimum wage has gone up. Now the cost of beef has gone up. Cost to transport it. The trucker is no longer spending 97 cents a liter on gas. Now it's $1.47. That's a huge increase. Oh, just take that out of your profits. No, that's coming out of somebody's income. This is why I don't understand why people don't get angry. This is why I say, like jokingly, Milky for mayor? No. I don't want to be mayor. That's a thankless job. And no matter how good you are at it, whether it's mayor, city councilor, whether it's MP, MPP, prime minister, premier, that is one of the most thankless jobs out there. I wouldn't want it. I'm already in a very thankless job. Sure, there are people who appreciate what I do and they hang out and they tune in, but they don't really like if I closed up shop tomorrow, who would really be upset? Me. Yeah, I can't see myself, but somebody, and this you know what? This is what I pine for in politics. An articulate, passionate, true leader, not a boss, a leader. A leader, in my opinion, is someone who is prepared to make personal sacrifices for the betterment of the people around them. In the case of business, a leader is someone who, when the owner of the company turns around to the general manager and says, you got to cut $200,000 out of your budget. A leader is someone who goes to their team and says, I've been told to cut $200,000 from the budget. Now, instead of doing the easy thing and firing a bunch of folks, I'm asking everyone, including myself, to take a 10% pay cut until we can get, until we can right the ship. That's a leader. I've put my neck out there. I'm asking you to put yours out there with me. A boss, well, no, I'm still entitled to my 20% increase. So let's see who we can affect here. Bing, 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 bing. There's a lot of bosses out there in the world, kids. There are very few leaders. I want that kind of a leader in government. And I just don't know who's out there who would even want that. Because making those kinds of cuts and making those kinds of sacrifices means that somebody's going to turn around on them and just, hello, Belleville, thanks for calling. Somebody's going to turn around on them and just, oh, you suck because you cut this, because you cut that program, because you don't see this as a priority. All of these programs cost money. It's got to come from somewhere. And if you want lower taxes, you have to give up something in return. But I don't think people have understood this for far too many years. I'm only beginning to really understand it. The more engaged I get. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know why I care. It seems the world around me is just like, fine. Gas is $1.47. Fine. Like, it becomes a Facebook meme. I made people laugh today at the price of gas. I'm so awesome. Take more of my money. Build more of the choo-choo train that doesn't work. It's fine. I don't need that money. Not like I have plans. Anyway, this is, I hope you're in. I hope somebody out there is actually listening to this conversation. I don't know. I'm throwing it out there. I feel the need to just, I can't just sit here quietly anymore and just be goofy disc jockey boy. There's way too many things that aren't getting enough attention, that people aren't paying enough attention to. And I don't know if I'm engaging. I don't know if I'm just pissing you off. I don't know. But I can't sit here and be quiet about it anymore. I'm paying way too much in taxes. You're paying way too much in taxes. It's going the wrong direction. And yeah, like Rob said, it's becoming very, very difficult for someone to make ends meet. And then you turn on the news, and what are they? Well, at the climate conference, Canada, one of the richest countries in the world. How in the hell? Like, it doesn't add up, right? The language doesn't add up. If we're one of the richest countries in the world, and we are, why are we paying $470 million a day just in interest payments? We're not even tackling the actual debt. Like I said, think of it as your credit card. You're owing, let's say, $5,000 on your credit card, but all you're making is your minimum interest payments. You're still owing $5,000. The national debt's the same thing. We borrowed money from investors in order to do this, in order to do that, in order to send the prime minister and 277 other people to a climate conference on 40 different jet planes in Scotland. Not another country on the planet sent 277 people to this conference. That doesn't piss you off? Really? It should. You paid for that. Did you go to Scotland this year for a vacation? Where you could just write off everything you ate and drank for the entire time? No, but you Catherine McKenna was there. Catherine McKenna was an MP from Ottawa for a number of years. Okay. She's not anymore. Why was she there? Why? Why am I looking at her Twitter and there she is with a group of friends swimming in the ocean in Scotland? Hi! Hi! I'm here on the taxpayer dollars. Hi! Really? And people just go, what's on Netflix? By the way, did you notice that all of a sudden on your Netflix bill, you're paying taxes? Wait, what? Huh? Oh, that upsets you. I wasn't paying taxes on that before. They're looking to take as much from you as they can so that they can fly 277 people on 40 different jets to a climate conference in Scotland. And then for some reason they went off to Rome. I don't know why Rome is involved. So here's the question again. Barb asking, what can we do about it? Stop tweeting. I mean, tweet, sure. Get involved. Write actual letters to them. Nothing scares a politician more than numbers. This is the game. The voter turnout in the last election was somewhere just over 50%. The person living next door to you on the left and the person living next door to you on the right did not vote. If you did, they didn't. So if I'm playing the odds, if I'm the politician, if I'm playing the odds, and I know that I can discount already 50% of what the voters think, 50% of what I see on Twitter, I don't have to pay any attention to. 50% of what I see on Facebook, I don't have to pay any attention to. I only need to play to a very small minority. And I've seen this time and time again with politicians. How do they win? Into the seniors' home they go, and they sit and they have tea and muffins, and they spend an hour or two with the seniors because they know that the seniors are more likely to show up and vote. Oh, I like that person. I had a lovely tea with them. They told me about their daughter. Their daughter and my granddaughter sound so much the same. Oh, they've got my vote. If all of a sudden I have to figure, gee, there's an 80% voter turnout, I need to work a lot harder to please a lot more people, don't I? They're not afraid. Politicians are not afraid of, nobody's showing up to vote. I'm playing the odds here. There's pretty much a 50-50 chance I'll get reelected. There's almost a 100% chance that ain't nobody paying attention to things like me going off to a climate conference. It's mind-boggling how much we don't pay attention to. It's your dollars. A leader, to me, would recognize what's going on in this country and stand up in front of a microphone and say, okay, no Canadian should ever, from this point forward, have to pay more than 30% of their income, 40%, whatever. We are going to cap the amount of taxes a Canadian and a business pays at this percent. Suddenly the taxpayer is not an endless resource. To me, if the government, and I've used the example a lot, it's about 40% of our income goes to paying taxes. Before we've even put food on the table, before we've even paid our mortgage, about 40% of whatever you earn is going to taxes. So just take that out of your bank account now. It doesn't exist. So now you've got that difference to live on. If all of a sudden it's capped at a percentage, you can work a lot harder and have a lot more. That's a conversation I want to listen to. That's something that's going to inspire me. That's something that's going to bring my ears back. Nope. Tax. Another tax. The carbon tax, by the way, if you look at it, if you ever look at the details of the bill, it's a tax on top of it. It's taxing taxes. You're being punished for buying gas. They actually tax the taxes. It's insanity. So that we can, take that money and put it towards a choo-choo train that doesn't freaking work. But it's okay. All that was broken was a windshield and a couple of panels. It's all good. I don't know. Here I am talking again, and I don't see anybody sort of reacting to it. But hey, I feel better. Let's play some music, shall we? We will get to that in just a little bit. Oh, I would be remiss if I did not say hello and good morning to our friend Susie, the dating diva, here with dating advice and tips for you. Good morning. With our friend Susie, the dating diva. And for some reason, Susie, I'm in a sing-songy mood. I don't know why. Hi.
Hi. That's as sing-songy as I'm going to get.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Here come the requests now. Milky, please sing. Don't sing. Okay. Yeah, that's my number one
Please
request.
stop.
Please stop. Yeah. I have other options, Milky. Yeah, but
for a good time.
Oh, here we go with the good time call. Yeah, here we go again with that. Thank you. For a good time, do call 613-604-6464. For an even better time, contact Susie the dating diva. Let's turn you into a single and dating rock star. And how is that for a segue?
I love it.
Right there.
Right.
Bam.
Awesome.
I got this. You are probably Ottawa's most recognized dating expert, and people can contact you on your website and you'll answer questions for them. You've got all kinds of great articles up there. You are the first person I would ever recommend if somebody is trying to up their dating game, which is why you're here every Tuesday and every Thursday on the show. All right. Today we want to tackle this question. Does unconditional love exist?
And what a question it is.
Mhm.
It's kind of loaded, but we'll tackle it.
For all you know, I'm loaded. You don't know.
Locked and loaded. Here we go.
All right.
So each and every person really is looking for a relationship with those who will love us completely, all our flaws, all our bad moods, and especially when we're not so lovable, which for some people is more often than others.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Me.
Oh. Oh, okay. Yes, I can live with that. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Just ask my husband. Someone who will selflessly love us, like obviously, essentially, we're looking for unconditional love.
Of course.
But is that even realistic? Like, is it fair to ask that of somebody, who isn't your mother? Expecting unconditional love, to me, I feel is unrealistic, especially when you're looking for love in the early stages. Expecting that level of love and commitment from someone in the early stages of dating is, to me, unrealistic.
That's a big ask. Yeah, that's a big ask. It's
a big ask.
Yeah.
When you've been with someone, 20 years, it's a different story,
I was going to say 20 months, but okay, 20 years. Let's go with that.
Love goes both ways, though, obviously. We need respect, understanding, and nurturing. And this is something that, you'll hear from a lot of psychologists as well. Like, part of love is having that respect, having understanding, having nurturing. So instead of always expecting unconditional love, we can contribute to the growth of the relationship by communicating and working together. And that's how you get to that higher level of love and commitment. A realistic, mature love is love that is mutually beneficial and built on solid ground of, respect, nurturing, and understanding. And those three things are essential. And if you're not getting that while you're dating someone, especially, after a few dates, you feel like you're being disrespected, like things are unequal, it's not mutually beneficial. You don't feel you're being nurtured by the other person, and you're not feeling nurturing towards the other person. You don't have the understanding, the respect, you're not working together. Like, the love part is like a pretty package, I always say. It's the stuff that's inside the box that's important. And it's these things like respect, nurturing, understanding, love, trust. Love is great, but all those things.
But those are the building blocks.
Foundation.
Yeah, those are the building blocks. Exactly. And if they're not there and you're not seeing evidence of them very early on, a year down the road or 20 years down the road, as the case apparently may be, they're not going to be there then either.
Yeah, there's a meme going around. I think it's attributed to Marilyn Monroe. Like, if you don't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best, or whatever.
Yep.
It's like, you can't expect someone you just met or you're just recently starting to date to love you at your worst. You can't, because your worst is probably a huge red flag to them at that point. Even if you're having a really bad day, a bad week, a bad whatever, how you react to that negativity in your life will show this person how you are going forward. And they might not like that. So yeah, you might say, well, then I don't want them in my life. They're not for me. But a lot of people are consistently that way. And, some people, I have a bad family history. I have a bad this, I have a bad that. They're in this like victim mentality, and they stick there and they want that person to love them despite all these flaws.
And
well,
console them
might.
too, right? And just, oh, you poor thing. Oh, especially
the only reason you bring those things up to someone you just met is because you're looking for sympathy. Yep. It's not because you're looking for understanding.
Yep.
So love should be conditional on those three things, especially. I'll repeat them: respect, nurturing, and understanding. No one should have to put up with negative behavior, abuse, or neglect from a partner. It's extremely important that the relationship is mutually beneficial. Instead of looking for the perfect partner who will love you unconditionally, you should work on being the perfect partner. The rest will fall into place where and when it's right.
So you get what you give, kind of thing.
Yeah, manage your expectations.
Okay.
Yeah, so our mantra for this session is, I will have realistic expectations of love.
Let's repeat that. I will have realistic expectations of love. I hope people write these down. I hope people, check back on them too and hold themselves accountable. Always great advice. Susie, again, you are available for one-on-one coaching. Let's up people's dating games. Let's help people get laid. No, let's help people get dates. Let's start there first.
Yes, that's right. And you can find me at Single Dating.
Hang on, I was about to say that. Hang on. Let's help people up their dating game. Singular. I think grammatically that's correct. Okay. How do people get in touch with you, Susie?
At singledatingdiva.com, you can ask me a question. I respond to everyone. And you can find all the articles and the mantras there for you.